and welcome back to another exciting adventure here with me at the Mad Science Lab. Today, we're going to learn about something very special that surrounds the entire planet. It's called the atmosphere. The atmosphere is like a big blanket of air that wraps around the Earth, keeping us safe and helping us breathe. Without the atmosphere, we wouldn't have clouds, weather, or even air that we need to live. So the atmosphere is made up of different layers, and each of those layers has its own job. We're going to explore each of these layers and learn what they do. And we're gonna have a lot of fun along the way that's going to help us learn how important the atmosphere is. Get ready to take a big deep breath and dive into the world of the atmosphere. If you're ready, I am definitely ready for this adventure. So let's go. Atmosphere is a huge blanket of air that covers the whole Earth. It's made up of different gases like oxygen, which we breathe, and other gases that help make the weather. The atmosphere keeps us safe by blocking out harmful rays from the sun and holding in the heat to keep our planet warm. Think of the atmosphere as Earth's protective shield, making sure everything is just right for us to live. Let's learn more about what the atmosphere does by making our own mini Earth with its very own atmosphere. So for this activity, we're going to be creating our very own mini version of the Earth and then wrapping it in its atmosphere. So here's what you need. You'll need a white styrofoam ball, a blue and green marker, and then some plastic wrap. So the first thing we're gonna do is color the Earth. The Earth has blue and green on it. Green is for the land and blue is for the water. So let's map out our Earth and color it in. Now I have my completed mini Earth. Now what we need to do is create the atmosphere for our mini Earth. The atmosphere is like a protective layer or shield over the Earth. And to do that, we're gonna use some plastic cover here to represent the atmosphere. So just go ahead and cover your Earth in the plastic. Just like how our plastic is surrounding our mini Earth, the atmosphere surrounds and protects the real Earth. By wrapping your mini Earth, you can see how the atmosphere acts like a protective layer, just like the plastic does for our little ball here. Now that we have a better understanding of how the atmosphere covers the Earth, let's move on and learn some more about it. So the atmosphere isn't just one big layer. It's actually made up of several different layers, each with its own special job. The layer that's closest to us, where we live, is where we see clouds and feel the weather. So as we go higher and reach other layers that protect us from the sun's rays and even help meteors burn up before they hit the ground. Imagine that you're climbing a really tall ladder, passing through different levels in the sky. Let's explore these layers by building a tower that represents the different parts of the atmosphere. Let's go! So, for this activity, we're gonna be building an atmosphere tower. Here's what you need. You'll need some paper, 5 cups that have lids, some markers and crayons, and you might need some tape. What we're gonna be doing is using our 5 cups as the 5 layers of the atmosphere: the troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. The first thing we're gonna be doing is actually labeling each cup as one of the layers of the atmosphere. So I'm going to be using these white labels here, but it's really easy to make your own labels if you don't already have the sticky ones. Just cut out some paper and tape it to the cups. Let's get started making the labels. So I'm going to go ahead and write out each of my labels first, and then I'm going to put them on the front of my cups. Okay, so now that I have all of my labels, I'm going to add them to my cups. So now that we have our cups labeled with each layer of the atmosphere, now we need to fill the cups with stuff that we would find in that atmosphere. So let's start with the troposphere. So let's move all of these over to the side for now. And let's get a piece of paper and cut it into 5 different strips. So what we're gonna do with the pieces of paper we cut out is create what we would find in each layer of the atmosphere. So first, let's talk about the troposphere. So this is the weather layer. This is the layer that is actually closest to us, where we live, and where all the weather happens. So clouds, rain, wind, and even snow all happen in this layer. So on our little piece of paper, let's draw some of those things. We can draw clouds, rain clouds, some wind, snow. We can use markers or crayons or a mixture of both. I have a cloud and a thunderstorm. Okay, so what else could we find in this layer of the atmosphere? Well, I don't know about you guys, but if it's windy outside, I'm going to fly a kite. So we could add a kite. There, I have a little red kite, and we can even do a few birds. So now that we have our weather layer, the troposphere, done, what we're going to do is we're going to put it inside of our cup. So roll it up with your pictures facing the outside and stick it into the cup. There, now you can see troposphere and turn it over and see some weather. So go ahead and put the lid on this one because we are done. And let's set it right here. Now, let's move on to the next layer, the stratosphere. The stratosphere is right above the troposphere. And this is where airplanes like to fly because it's smoother and less bumpy. The stratosphere also has something called the ozone layer, which helps protect us from the sun's strong rays. So let's grab another piece of our paper and create stuff to go in the stratosphere. Since this is the airplane layer, I think we have to draw an airplane. All right, here is my finished airplane. I even added some details at the back to make it look like it's flying. So now that we have our airplane, let's add it to the airplane layer, the stratosphere. Go ahead and fold your paper in like this, making sure the airplane is showing, and place it on the back of the cup. And this goes on top, just like this. All right, let's move on to the next layer of the atmosphere, the mesosphere. This sphere is called the shooting star layer. The mesosphere is where it gets really cold, and it's where meteors or shooting stars burn up before they actually reach Earth. I think we should draw a shooting star for our mesosphere layer. Just a simple star shape, and then to make it a shooting star, let's first add some yellow and just draw some lines going away from the star. Okay, so there is the shooting star. And let's add one more thing to this layer. Let's add a little meteor. Okay, so now that we have our pictures for our mesosphere layer, let's add it in. So we're doing the same thing. We're just folding it in, just like this, and adding it into the cup. All right, we have 3 layers done and 2 more to go. So let's move on and learn about the thermosphere. It's super high up and it is very hot. So this is where astronauts go when they fly up to space. And this is where the northern lights happen, which are really pretty lights that appear in the sky. So let's grab our piece of paper and make some items to go into the thermosphere. I think we should add a little spaceship going up and some northern lights. All right, here's my completed rocket ship and my northern lights, and let's roll it up and add it to the cup. All right, that means we only have 1 layer left, the exosphere. The thermosphere was the space layer, but the exosphere is the outer space layer. So this is the very top layer where the atmosphere ends and the outer layer of space begins. This is where Earth's satellites orbit. Let's get our piece of paper and add to the exosphere. Since the exosphere is where we can find the Earth satellite, let's draw it on our little piece of paper. Okay, there we have it. Now let's wrap it up and add it to the cup. All right, let's put a lid on it and add it to our stack of layers. All right, now we have all of the layers of the atmosphere stacked up together. So all of these layers actually sit on top of Earth like this. This is the Earth, and this is its 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers of its atmosphere. We have the troposphere, the stratosphere, the mesosphere, the thermosphere, and the exosphere. So now that we know all about the layers and what goes inside of each of them, let's move on and learn more about the atmosphere. Let's go!